The goal today of this summit is to, one is for, if you're a racer and you're looking for sponsors, we're going to teach you what's worked for us in finding sponsors, communicating with them, communicating value with them, and securing them. And then we're also going to take a lot of time today to show how things have changed in the past few years. Motorsports have changed, events have changed, COVID changed a lot. And so today it's not necessarily about getting a sponsor, it's about keeping that sponsor. And you keep sponsors by creating value for them. So we're going to talk a lot today about creating value, increasing your value so sponsors renew, and tapping into some of the tips and tricks and tools and things that we use to create more value when perhaps we're not getting on the podium all the time. And there's a lot of things that we can do. So we have an all-star cast of panelists and speakers. A lot of people I'm really excited to introduce you to and hear what they have to say about creating value for sponsors. Megan, did I forget anything or?
No, I don't think so. I think you touched on everything. So, yeah, we'll just be going all about why brand sponsors, Dex proposals, social media, podcast, all that type of stuff. So that way we give you guys the tools so you can keep racing and so you can take your career to the next level with that funding that you're going to get from sponsorships.
Right on. Well, all right, real quick then, Eric, we'll go around. Why don't we just stay with you for a second? And we have 10 minutes left, so we can all talk for about 2 minutes on it. But do you have any words of advice for racers who are watching this?
I would probably say the approach is what I see people needing most work with. Okay. Still, even those who understand to some extent what sponsorship is about still come to us often with what they're looking for. Hey, I'm looking for this. Can I get this? Could I just get some product? Right. And that's, one that comes up constantly. And is actually an easy one for someone like me to do. I mean, I can, give anyone product. Right. So, but very few, if anyone, comes to me and says, what are you guys focused on this year? What are you trying to accomplish? And every company goes through some sort of strategic planning process. Every company has, say 3 to 5 objectives that they're moving towards over the next year or the next 3 to 5 years. So we could answer those questions if they were ever asked. But it's rare that people come to us. And I think that would be a differentiator right off the bat. Like we talked about ROI earlier, and even though ROI isn't a calculation that we're running internally, if someone came to me and said, I'm really interested in giving you a great return on investment, all of a sudden that tells me that they've got me in mind and they've got my business in mind. And that's an approach I don't see taken often. So if, throughout the course of this whole day, if there's one thing I'd love to see racers change, it's their approach.
But what I'm really looking for goes a few layers in, and that is what type of B2B can they bring? What type of B2C can they bring? Can they bring business? Does their owners or their people, some of their other sponsors have these businesses or these outlets or these lanes that we can get in that we can truly turn to sales? And that's where really partnering someone, really getting to know them, getting to know their owners. That's really what I'm looking for now. Yeah, you go to see the racer. We all want to be on the podium. We all want to be able to get up and rah and cheer, whether we're at an off-road race, an NHRA race, a NASCAR race, or a grassroots race, dirt late model, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, just yesterday I sat and had lunch with one of our athletes, and 80% of the conversation is about his relationships and how we can either help his people who are in a given industry where they use a lot of gas and propane type generators for landfills. Mm-hmm. Well, and that rings the cash register. Right. Way more so than this E3 logo and, hey, I'm running E3. What are you running? That's great. That's one box again that gets checked. But the ultimate box is if he can say, hey, while you're at Nashville coming up here next week, I want to introduce you to this guy because they have this type of equipment that we can bring. Now you're ringing the cash register. Now you really have that relationship. Now you're really able to go to that next level. Yes. And either it's business to business, when we're doing business with them, they're doing business with us, or if he can get you business to customer. Either one of those is really where, that's a lot of what I'm looking for, what I'm, that's, to me, is a big part of what we do.
Same thing. Same for you, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered this so many times, but I think it's definitely worth covering over and over again because we need it to be more legitimized. I'm looking for a marketing plan.
Yes.
And goals you can set for K&N, not a plan to race. That's great. I understand you want to race. I understand that's your passion. But, the business side of it requires a marketing plan. That plan to race serves you and your team, and that plan to race should be part of your marketing plan, but it can't be the reason for us to partner. We look for more tangible assets and how you're going to sell more filters. So identify what you have to offer specifically for that company, and how that adds value to their plan, because the generic Ricky Bobby logo placements on cars for a check isn't going to be enough for most people nowadays. Ultimately, your goal is to get financial support, and to do it, you have to show them, how to help them with their agenda, not just why you are the best in your sport or space.
Now let's go to the non-endemic, Monster Energy. We had 3 aftermarket brands and endemics, automotive companies. What are they looking for? Last words of advice. Joe, from a beverage perspective, from a consumer brand perspective, from one of the biggest companies in the world perspective, what last advice do you have? Words of wisdom. What would you say in 2 minutes to racers on the call who need advice on sponsorships?
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Go do what you do. Have a good time doing what you do. And chances are our paths are going to cross. And when the paths cross, that's where the relationship gets kindled. And if it goes down the road, great. Then you end up doing a deal. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've done a deal off a deck that's just been sent to me. Not to say that decks aren't good. Typically, I request decks only to sell to my upper management.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't look for a deck that's trying to sell me. You walk down the street and someone says, hey, you got $5. Do you give them that $5? Chances are you don't give them that $5. But you walk in the store around the corner and you give that store owner $5 because you're getting something. So someone out of the blue asking me for sponsorship is no different than the guy walking down the street saying, hey bro, give me $5.